Well, good morning, and thank you all for being here, joining us here at Gately Park. Thank you so much, Tiara, for the kind introduction. Thank you to Alderman Michelle Harris and to Representative Nick Smith. Both of you welcoming us to your ward, your district. To my partners in the General Assembly, Speaker Chris Welch, Senate President Don Harmon, Leader Marcus Evans, Senator L.G. Sims, and all the legislators joining us today. Thank you for your leadership in making the successes of the last week possible. To the many organizations that are joining us today, this budget would be nothing without the work that you do on the ground, day in and day out, to reach our most vulnerable. I'm very grateful for your perseverance and for your dedication. Let's give them all a big round of applause. To Tiara and to all of our young people who are joining us, today really is about you. We're here because the budget that we passed last week will have an enormously positive impact on your generation. It focuses on giving you every opportunity to succeed. It invests in your future like never before. To all of the future athletes and scholars, artists and musicians, teachers and doctors, entrepreneurs and leaders, our state is fully behind you. For our very youngest Illinoisans, thanks to this budget, we're making sure that your favorite child care provider can keep their doors open, afford supplies, and hire more caregivers. For those toddlers who need a little extra help, whether it's speech or walking or other skills, we've expanded support for early intervention programs, ensuring that we can detect challenges and reach kids from the very start, giving everyone a shot to live up to their God-given potential. For K-12 students, your schools will receive a higher level of funding than ever before. That's support that can bring smaller classes and more teachers, social workers, nurses, librarians, art classes, music, tutors for those who need a little extra help, and so much more. Gone are the days when this state balances its budget at your expense, forcing local governments to raise property taxes. And when the school bell rings, you'll be able to participate in new after-school programs and summer jobs, thanks to our expanded investments in these critical programs. Thousands more kids can explore their interests and their passions after school or get career experience and earn some money in their communities this summer. For our high school students thinking about their next steps, we've made it more affordable than ever to get a college degree or earn a career certificate. We're providing record funding, $600 million, into our state scholarship program. That gives more than 155,000 students the resources that they need to attend a public university or a community college in Illinois. And when they get to campus, they'll find colleges that will provide a world-class, affordable education with new buildings and more support, one that will lead to a good job after you graduate. For our most vulnerable young people, there is nothing more important to us in state government than caring for you. So we're investing a record amount in our Department of Children and Family Services to hire more staff, to upgrade skills, to provide more support and reach more families. We've nearly doubled funding for Redeploy Illinois to get justice-involved youth on the right path, and supporting youth homelessness prevention, because no young person should ever grow up without a safe place to call home. For those young people who weren't born in the United States, but whose families have made Illinois your home, we've invested millions to make Illinois the most welcoming state to all young people, regardless of your citizenship or refugee status. Finally, this budget is doing something important for young people to secure their immediate and their long-term economic future. We've achieved our state's strongest fiscal position in generations, paying off our bill backlog and short-term debts and shoring up our rainy day fund. Unlike decades past, we will not pass off growing debt burdens to the next generation. In fact, we're not only paying off $5 billion in debts, we're also sending $1.8 billion in tax relief back to Illinois families. Today is a celebration of what this legislation means for our young people, in who they are now and in who they will become someday. It means new and better opportunities to learn, work, and grow safely in their home communities. And it means a stronger, healthier Illinois for them to grow up in and raise their own families. So I want to thank all of you for joining us today. It is truly a great day. Now, it is my great pleasure to welcome my friend and ally in the fight for a better, safer, and more prosperous future for the young people of the state of Illinois, our Speaker, Chris Welch.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I am extremely proud to be standing here in the city we love today with the Governor, Senate President, and my Democratic colleagues from both chambers, celebrating the success of this budget. This budget is one that we can all be proud of. This budget is fiscally and socially responsible, and it responds to the needs of the people. The people who you send to Springfield to represent you heard you loud and clear, and when you read this moral document, you will see that we heard you. This budget is for the people of the great state of Illinois. It pays our bills, makes extra pension payments, contributes to a once depleted rainy day fund, and provides much needed tax relief as our families deal with the high cost of inflation. But just don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Fiscal watchdogs are praising this state's budget. Credit agencies are looking at Illinois differently, and we have the best financial outlook this state has seen in decades. This budget also uplifts and invests in our people and our communities. This budget uplifts all of the people you see behind me, particularly those that have witnessed systemic disinvestment. In addition to the public safety funding in the budget, including $250 million for the Reimagined Public Safety Act, we are adding more than $200 million more for public safety. We are also significantly investing in our youth because we know that the youth are our future. Like my friends at La Casa Norte, would say, this budget will help us heal the hood. In this budget, we've allocated about $8 billion for K-12 funding. We're investing nearly $600 million for early childhood programs to ensure that when your children enter school, they are doing so with strong foundational knowledge and skills. We're putting $5.5 million toward the Youth Build program This program enrolls low-income youth and young adults who have dropped out of school and have limited job skills into a year-long program that helps them build important workforce skills and reach their academic goals. We've put nearly $17 million toward Teen Reach, the comprehensive youth development initiative that provides after-school services to high-risk youth. This budget puts $19 million toward youth employment programs that are designed to target those who are interested in gaining specific workplace skills and employment experience. And there is about $9.5 million going towards homeless youth services to assist in the safety of our youth and ensure their most basic needs are met. This is a budget that takes a look at our future. The youth are our future. And indeed, this budget is going to help us heal the hood. There is much more in this budget, and I'm proud of what we've accomplished. We could not have gotten it done without cooperation and partnership. I'm so proud of the work we did with Governor Pritzker and his team, but I'm extremely proud to call the Senate President my friend, my neighbor in the western suburbs, and a partner in making sure we have a budget that takes care of the people of the great state of Illinois. Please welcome the Senate President Don Harmon.
Well, good morning, all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is great to be here with members of the Senate Democratic Caucus. I saw our Majority Caucus Chair, Senator Maddie Hunter, here, a rising star in our caucus, Senator Selena Villanueva, and the chair of our Appropriations Committee, who I'll be able to introduce in a moment, and our host senator today, Senator L.G. Sims. I call them out in particular because a few weeks ago, when the Illinois Senate Democrats got together to talk about what we thought a final state budget deal should look like, a clear message emerged. This should be a child-centric plan that puts money where our mouths have been for a long time and recognizes that a brighter future begins today by investing in the children and young families all across this state. Now, of course, public school funding was a priority. Investing in children, however, is more than just investing in education. It's support services and child care and mental health assistance and a devotion to keeping our children safe and protecting them from abuse. There's a $250 million increase for the Department of Children and Family Services to get the agency back on track and expand services, placements, and capacity to meet the needs of our most vulnerable children. We will wipe out the state sales tax for back-to-school shopping in August. And then we took it a step further with direct income tax rebates that tilt in favor of those with children, steering $50 back to each taxpayer and $100 for each child. We intentionally set it up that way in an effort to make sure that a single parent gets treated fairly in this deal too. From there, it took shape further in both the House and the Senate, and we all worked together to produce a final document that I believe has the potential to signify the start of a new chapter of optimism in Illinois and one that sets the stage for long-term success. With that, I'm pleased to turn over the podium to my friend and the Senate Budget Chairman, Senator L.G. Sims.
Good morning. Wait. You all know me. That is not going to be good enough. Good morning. You know, as Senate President mentioned, my name is L.G. Sims, and I have the honor and privilege of being the state senator of the 17th District. So this is home. So we want to welcome you to the 17th District because great things are always happening here in the 17th District. But I've got to take a moment to pause and welcome you to this wonderful edifice, the World Track and Field Center. named after one of my friends and mentors and a true champion in this community, Dr. Conrad Worrell. Let's give him a round of applause. You know, as Senate President mentioned, you know, a couple weeks ago, we were starting to, the budget was starting to come into full form. And, you know, you ever have one of those, you know, I told you so moments? Today is one of those I told you so moments, because we wanted to invest in our young people. You know, there's an African proverb that says we don't inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. And that's what we are doing. We are continuing to invest in our children. That's why you see a focus on our youth in this budget. That's why you see us focusing on increasing education spending in this budget, increasing the ability for young people to address the challenges that they face every day. We made unprecedented investments in the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, treating gun violence as the public health crisis that it is here in the state of Illinois. We wanted to make sure that no child ever had to deal with the scourge of gun violence and not have the appropriate treatment to make sure that they could become whole. That's what this budget does. But also, it makes sure that we stop the practice of borrowing from our youth's future. So we made over nearly $3.5 billion in investments in sound fiscal management, making investments into our rainy day fund, paying down old debts. Illinois has no debts right now. In 2017, at the height of a manufactured budget crisis, Illinois had $16 billion in old bills. We were paying our debts in over 200 days. Now, we have less than $3 billion. We are paying those debts in 15 days or less. You don't even pay your Visa card in that amount of time. We are making the decisions necessary to ensure our children have the bright future that we intend for them. But it only happens because we come together, we have a plan, and we execute that plan. That's why I want to thank the leader of our caucus, Senate President Don Harmon, and my budget team for making sure that we hold true to our priorities, Speaker Welch and my colleagues in the House Democrats for making sure that we continue to invest in communities that have been left behind, and our governor, who set a plan. When we started this process in February, I said to our caucus, I intend for the governor to propose a budget that is balanced and invest in people. We'll build on that budget, and we've done that because we want to continue to invest in people. So I want to thank Governor Pritzker and his team for their leadership and their partnership, because we could not do this together. I said this during debate on the floor. We invite our Republican colleagues to join us at any turn. They have not yet chose to do that, but we will continue to govern even if they don't, because this is a task at which we cannot fail. And with that, I want to introduce my other state representative, State Representative Marcus Evans.
We got the governor on the south side. All right, make some noise, south side, for the governor. You know, leadership matters. Your block club leadership matters. Your church leadership matters. Your alderman leadership matters. Your commissioner leadership matters. Your state rep leadership matters. But in government, because again, the federal government was created by the states. Look at the history. State government leadership matters. And we have the right leader in Governor Pritzker. We have a solid leader, a compassionate leader. Because I can tell you something, and think about everything that's going on in your life. You know when you got something good, and the question is, how do you know when you got something good? When you had something bad. And we had something bad in this state a few years ago. Y'all remember? We had something bad. But now we got something good, a compassionate leader that prioritizes things that we don't have to worry about. You know, the team of Sims, as Senator, and Smith, and myself, Marcus Evans, we can focus on the little things, because we know that the governor is going to send Senator Harmon and Speaker Welch a budget that prioritizes children, health care. We already know that. We got a governor that's going to send us a budget. We just got to refine the little things. And that is such a blessing because in the past, something else happened. We got a good thing. Round of applause for a good thing. And again, I'm proud to represent my community, born and raised on the South Side. And I love to see a budget, Morgan Park High School, Chicago State University. I represent the South Side because I love my community. I live in Avalon Park. I love our community. And I'm going to demand that the governor does that, but we got a governor that's going to do it anyway, and that's such a blessing. But once we fight hard for the budget and we send those monies down to our towns and we send those dollars to our cities, we want those dollars to be shepherded correctly. And we send them to the city of Chicago. We want leadership on the city of Chicago that's going to do the right thing. Look at this building. Why is this building here? Because our local leadership said we want to create not just a little nice building, but a beautiful Ephesus that can be enjoyed by the entire region. So round of applause for this beautiful, beautiful facility. So we want to have our local shepherds take care of the state dollars that we send. They want to have our local shepherds create opportunities for young people. Who's going to do that? And the next person that I'm bringing up is the individual who has done that, is doing that, and in the future will continue to do that. Take the resources that come from the state and the federal government and make sure that the people can fill them and create opportunities for young people. 20 years ago, I was one of those young people that Alderman Michelle Harris created opportunities for. And she's creating opportunities and leading this community to do great things. So I'm bringing up my alderman, the alderman of the 8th Ward, again, a person that's taking the resources that Governor Pritzker is talking about, these state dollars, and making them a reality for the South Side. So allow a round of applause for our local leader, Alderman Michelle Harris.
Good morning. Welcome to the house that Governor Pritzker built. This is a $57 million hydraulically banked track and field, the only one in the state of Illinois. Thank you to Governor Pritzker for his leadership, to Senator Sims, and to Nick Smith, who fought, and Marcus C. Evans Jr., who fought tirelessly to get this building built and get it together. Today, I see my friends of track and field are here today who have been on this journey with me to get this indoor track facility that hosts the NCAA championship battles in this building, and so I'm grateful. And it leads me into, from the cradle to college, the governor, the speaker, the Senate president have funded programs that will enrich our children's lives and change the trajectory that many of our children are on. To the governor's point, every child should feel safe and be loved and have a good environment to be in. So I'm grateful as the Alderman of the 8th Ward to have a partnership with all these wonderful elected state officials behind me, because if in government you cannot do anything with your hands closed, but if your hands are open, you can receive a little help. So today I'm grateful for all the help that is going to come down to local communities across the state of Illinois. And I think this is a fabulous budget, because our children truly are our future. Today, again, I want to thank everybody for being in the 8th Ward and welcome back my partner, Governor Pritzker.
Thank you. Happy to take any questions from members of the media. Mary Ann.
Thank you, Governor. So, you're not signing it today. This is just a pep rally celebration, I see.
It's a celebration of a very important portion of the budget, which is really a major focus of it, and that's on our young people.
What happens after the year, and you obviously had some federal COVID money that helped. What happens when all that goes away?
Actually, we've taken that into account, Mary Ann. You see that the projected revenues for the coming year are lower than the projected revenues for the end of fiscal year 22. And so we've taken into account that there will be less money from the federal government that's floating around the economy. We did not include ARPA dollars in the budget of the state for FY23. There are no federal direct support dollars. These are revenues that came from and are coming from the growing economy that we have, because the federal government revived the economy so quickly after the terrible tragedy of not only the health challenges of COVID are being overcome, but now the financial challenges.
Could I ask the speaker as well?
Of course.
Maybe both of you would talk about, do you feel as if you made some adjustments on the crime bills? Are you confident that those are better today than they were a year ago?
Well, first of all, I'm very confident in what we passed a year ago. I want to make sure people understand that we never bought into the false narrative created by our colleagues on the other side of the aisle. What we passed a year ago was monumental historic legislation celebrated by people as high as the Supreme Court of this state. Advocates believe the work that we did was extremely important. What we did this session was continue to listen to the people that send us to Springfield. We know that carjackings have been a problem. We responded to that. We know that organized retail theft has been a problem. We responded to that. We know that ghost guns have been a problem. We responded to that. We continue to make our state a safer place. We even included $500 million in our budget toward public safety. And what did our friends on the other side of the aisle do? They voted no to $500 million in things that are going to increase public safety. And so what I like to point out is there's only one party in this state that's voting to defund the police. There's only one state in this party that's voting to defund youth investment programs, and that's not the Democratic Party. I'm proud of the work that we've done for public safety, and we're going to continue to build on that.
Yes. Tina. So the first thing I would point out is that the state put from the ARPA fund the largest amount of money that it's ever put forward for our unemployment insurance trust fund. And it's because we suffered a terrible tragedy in this COVID-19 crisis. And it's significantly affected unemployment. We had so many people unemployed for a relatively shorter period of time than I think people had expected. And now, by the way, we're back up to a jobs level that we were at before the pandemic. But during that period, we needed to take care of people who are out of work. So the $2.7 billion that were put into that fund were to reduce the burden that normally falls into a closed system that is really an agreed bill process negotiation between business and labor. So that now with the remainder of that fund that needs to be closed, that deficit that needs to be closed, they can work from a much more reasonable number. And they are. They have come to the table. The only people that walked away, because it's business and labor, Democrats and Republicans typically sit on the outer ring of that, but not directly involved. And it was the Republicans who walked away from that negotiation, mainly, as I think we've all seen, because they wanted to create a gimmick for them to run on during this election. But the reality is that we're righting the system. We're making sure that people are going to get the benefits that they deserve and that system is fully funded.
Can we ask you about masks? The president has his administration, they're going to extend the masks for 2 more weeks at least on public transit and airplanes, that kind of thing. How do you think the state is doing? Cities like Philadelphia are reinstating masks. Do you see that as a possibility here?
Well, we're watching these numbers very closely, as you know, and the numbers that we really pay very, very close attention to are hospitalizations, because Omicron has had varying effects different than Delta. And so now we're in a series of, infections that people are getting where we not only, people are less sick as a result of the fact that we have many more people who are vaccinated and who are taking care of themselves, but also we have therapeutics that are helping people who do get sick to recover more easily. And so we are seeing hospitalizations very far down from where they were at the height of Omicron and stabilized at a relatively low rate. And again, we're watching those numbers very closely. Look, I think that towns, cities across Illinois, not to mention across the country, should do what they feel is necessary in their communities to keep people safe. But I feel like right now, and listening to the IDPH and our experts on the outside of IDPH, that we're in a pretty good place.
We have time for 2 more.
Which changes are you referring to? Right. With the foundation, yeah. Well, I think you may know that when I came into office, there were, frankly, it was a mess, the relationship between the foundation and the museum. This is the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum. And so we've been working on this for a couple of years now to figure out how do we make sure that the library and museum is well funded and that we have a functioning leadership group and governance of that organization. I think we've gotten there. That's taken us a little while to figure it out. Separating those two organizations and really making the library and museum the primary entity with one governance structure is the best way to move forward. And you've seen that it's stabilized. We've got a great new leader of the Abraham Lincoln Library and Museum, and I'm very pleased about the direction of it.
Okay, last question. Dr. Riziki was a leader during the pandemic and was very well respected. We're still in the pandemic. We're seeing rises in other cities. Do you think there's a need to kind of do a nationwide search for elements and different standards in the U.S. besides the deputy?
Well, I want to give the deputy, the interim director, some kudos because she is really terrific, Dr. Amal Tokars. And it is a difficult, to follow in Dr. Ezike's footsteps is certainly a difficult thing to do. She really is, I hope to all of you, certainly to me, a hero has been during this pandemic, and I admire her greatly. We are looking all across the state of Illinois as well as the nation to find a replacement. We want to just find the best person for the job. Public health, as you can imagine, the people who've been in public health are exhausted often because they've been in another state or in this state, and it's been challenging for everybody. So we want to make sure that we find somebody who's got the vim and vigor for the future, that's going to be able to help us overcome whatever challenges come with any future variants that may come. And don't forget, the Department of Public Health has many other responsibilities. People didn't generally pay attention to those responsibilities, but they're about keeping our levels of flu down, making sure people are getting their measles vaccination. You remember we had an outbreak of measles, strangely enough, right after I took office. We want to make sure that everybody's getting vaccinated for everything else, not just COVID. And it's an important department, so we're going to find the right person. Thank you very much, everyone.